Hello, everybody. I'm Simon Preston, and welcome back to Reggae Boys Commentary. This is the platform where we come together to discuss everything in relation to Jamaican football. This is your hub for everything Jamaican football related. It's July 31st, 2024, and the news that everybody has been anticipating, waiting for the past 4 weeks or so. Everybody's aware right now, so that we can be able to go right to things now. Let's get to know Coach Steve McClaren. And remember, it's Stephen McClaren. That's his proper name. Steve McClaren is short. Just like you would say Alex instead of saying Alexander, for an example. That's one thing. Or you might say Max instead of saying Maximilian. So there's a number of names of individuals that are shorter than they actually are. So that you are Will instead of William. So you have situations of that nature in particular for you to be aware about. But yes, Steve McClaren. Let's get to know Steve McClaren. Tidbits on Steve McClaren, the new head coach of the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. So, first thing first, so that everybody is abundantly aware, Steve McClaren, who is he? Where is he from? What are the early beginnings? Well, Stephen McClaren was born May 3rd, 1961 in Fulford, England. Fulford, England is located in York. York is located in the county of North Yorkshire. Yes, that's right. Let's basically show you a map so you understand, and then I'll explain why I'm speaking this way. So, if you look on your screen right now, you see a map of the United Kingdom and Ireland. So, Fulford is located in North Yorkshire. So, it's located in this vicinity. So, the area that he's from and where he's grown up, he's described himself as Yorkshire born and bred, and I'll go a little bit of history into that as well so that everybody is fully aware. So Fulford, this is the area that he's from, so that everybody's aware. In the north of England, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You have the Pennines, you have the countryside, you have the green grasslands, you have the residential areas. It truly is a marvelous place. And Fulford is the area that he's from. You could say one of the closest clubs to him in terms of driving distance. You could say it could be Middlesbrough. That's one of the closest clubs to him. York United as well. So those are two clubs in particular that will be close to him. If he goes south, he'll have Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, and Barnsley. If he goes to the west in West Yorkshire, he'll have Leeds, Huddersfield Town, Bradford City, Halifax. If he goes to East Yorkshire, he'll have Hull City, so that everybody is aware. At least you know all of these aspects of things in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so Yorkshire. What is so special about Yorkshire, this area, which is the largest area in the United Kingdom? Stretching from where Houston Middlesbrough is, right here, all the way down to Sheffield. Okay, that's how big Yorkshire is in England. It's the largest region in all of England in terms of size. In terms of population, London has some 8 to 9 million people. And then, of course, Birmingham follows as well in terms of cities as well. By the way, Joe Latipodir is from Doncaster. And you have many players of Jamaican heritage that were actually born or raised in the Yorkshire area. Clayton Donaldson as well, Bradford, close to Leeds. And then, of course, in Donny, you also have Mason Holgate that was born in this area as well. So, the north of the England starts here. The north of England starts from Sheffield going up. That is considered the north of England. Anywhere below Sheffield is considered the Midlands. Stoke-on-Trent, Nottingham, Derby, Birmingham, Peterborough, Coventry, Cambridge, Peterborough United. So that is what you call the Midlands of England, like. And then south, when you're going Luton, London, Southampton, Bournemouth, Portsmouth, Cornwall, those areas in particular are the south of England. And basically, you can understand the way that they speak because it's basically the way I'm speaking right now. But when you go up north in England now, it's a little bit different. So when you pronounce the word, you say grass, right? You say the word grass. But in the north, you say grass. And your normal pronunciation would be last year. but in the north it's pronounced last year. So the A has a different sound. It has a sound. Last year. And so that everybody's aware, it's called car park. Only the United States and Canada would call it, well, only the United States has parking lot. So it's called car park. I was waiting for him in the car park. You know what I'm saying? So that is what you can understand there. So Yorkshire, where Steve McClaren was born in Yorkshire, as I made mention in the previous video, is an area of working class, hardworking men, disciplined, diligent in their routine, never give up, never say die. James Milner, look at him. He's still playing football and he's almost 40. He's a Yorkshireman. Kyle Walker, John Stones, hard as nails. Yorkshiremen are tough, never give up, thick-skinned, determined, disciplined. One of the most powerful set of men on the planet come from Yorkshire. The best rugby league players on the planet from Yorkshire as well. And basically, I want to make a point there that Jamaica's squad that went to the Rugby League World Cup in 2022 in England, 16 of the 24 players that was at the World Cup were actually born in Yorkshire, including the captain, Ashton Golding. He was born in a place called Bramley, and Bramley is also in Leeds, so that you're aware for that aspect as well. So basically, what I'm going to explain to you is that in Yorkshire, they have this sort of accent, but when you go over to Manny, it's a little bit different because you get a little bit of a mix of the Lancashire accent as well, like you're in Preston. So basically, when you're on this part of the Pennines, you can hear a little bit more like you're a little bit further north. Do you know what I mean? Like, so basically, in that part of the country, you hear a different way. But when you're over in the east of the Pennines over here, this is basically how Steve McClaren would talk, because the way that the pronunciation of words in the north is different from the pronunciation in the south. So you're basically aware. Let's continue with the tidbits, shall we? And I'm sure you all would have been aware or perhaps seen viral videos of Coach Steve McClaren with a Dutch accent or speaking things. So we'll see over time if he adopts a Jamaican accent. It's not compulsory, but certainly something that everybody would be mindful about and aware about, quite frankly. But you know, one step at a time. All right. Was he a player? Yes. Steve McClaren was a player. He played in the 70s, the 80s, and also in the early 90s as well. In terms of, firstly, his family, Steve McClaren's family, his fathers were miners, worked in the cotton mill workers, laborers. As I said, they worked and they grafted. And Yorkshire people, they work an important role in the Industrial Revolution. So in school, he was very intelligent, had 11 subjects in school, and he played, when he was growing up, he played rugby league, tennis, squash, and he was also the captain of his secondary school's football team as well. He played for York Boys' under 15 team, and they represented the county of Yorkshire. Was a midfielder, a talented midfielder, I must add as well. He was described by the English media as a tidy player, skillful on the ball, and head and shoulders above the rest. That is what he was described like. What was his playing career like? Well, that is what I'm going to explain to you right now, so at least that you're aware in terms of his playing days. So, as a player, he spent time with Hull City from 1979 to 1985. He had then spent time at Derby County, 1985 to 1988. He had a loan spell at Lincoln in between. Then was at Bristol season for one season. And then after that, spent time at Oxford United from 1989 to 1992, so that you are aware. So that essentially was his playing career. He was part of the Derby County team that won the second division in 1987. That was the same year that Everton last won the league, so that everybody is aware. And the managerial standpoint, you could say things started in the late 90s, and I'm going to explain why I say that. After he retired from football in the early 90s, 92 thereabouts, he moved to Derby in 95, and where he was the assistant manager to Jim Smith. And they won promotion to the Premier League, their first season in charge, and established themselves in the division, and later further consolidated themselves into the top flight. As you know, at the time at Derby County, You had the likes of Dion Burton, you had Paul Hall, etc. So those are some Jamaicans that he has had the opportunity to be able to work with. In the early 90s, the call came from Man United. So an opportunity came from Man United, and he grabbed it with both hands. With both hands, he took it. And at Manchester United, in terms of those accolades, part of the coaching staff that went on to win the treble, the first ever, you could say, English club to win the treble, and was the England assistant to Sven-Göran Eriksson for the 2002, 2006 World Cup and 2004 Euros, where they went to the quarterfinals. Middlesbrough won the League Cup and also was runners-up in the League Cup, the UEFA Cup in 2006. FC Twente won the league in the Eredivisie. Was at Wolfsburg in Germany, Nottingham Forest, went back to Twente for a season, Derby County, Newcastle United, Derby County, and the Queen's Park Rangers. That is some information about him so that you are aware. I know many persons are saying, Simon, what about Maccabi Tel Aviv? So in August 2017, he joined Maccabi Tel Aviv as a coaching consultant, and then he vacated the post some 5 months later. So in terms from the Israel perspective, he was only there for 5 months, so that you're aware. He returned to Manchester United in 2022. This was after he spent some 2 years at Derby County, where he was a technical director there. At Manchester United, spent the last 2 years as part of Eric Ten Hag's backroom staff. 2 years, 2 trophies. So that is what it has been like so far. Coach McClaren has 3 sons, and right now, in terms of where he resides, there's a place called Yarm, and Yarm is located in Stockton-on-Tees, again, in the north of England, so that you are aware, so that everybody is aware. Had the experience of coaching England as well. 18 matches he coached England and won 9 of them and drew 4 of those games for England. He also won the Rinus Michels Award in 2010, which goes to the top coach in the Eredivisie every season, and he was the first non-Dutchman to win that award, so that you are aware. So those are some tidbits of Steve McClaren, so you can get to know him a little bit better. And from a Jamaican standpoint, what I'll do is provide some information in relation to the history of Jamaican coaches, so that you are aware as well, and that we can be able to press on forward. Okay, so let me do that now for you. George Penna was the first head coach of Jamaica back in '62, followed by Antoine Tassi from Haiti. Then George Hamilton followed a little after that, and I'll be able to show you the information. Let me do that so that you guys can have a visual representation as well. George Hamilton, George Thompson followed, George Prescott, Otmar Calder from Germany, Jackie Bell, Coach Carl Brown, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10. So Carl Brown has been coach for 10 years for Jamaica in different spells. Also the first coach for Jamaica to win the Caribbean Cup and 3rd place in a Gold Cup in '93. Ali McNabb, Delroy Scott, Jeffrey Maxwell, Rennie Simoes, 6 years and change as head coach of Jamaica. Sebastio Lazzaroni, Clovis de Oliveira, Sebastio Lazzaroni, Wendell Downswell, Carl Brown again, Bor Milutinovich, John Barnes. In terms of Coach Whitmore, 4 plus 5 is 9. So he's been head coach of Jamaica 9 years in 2 different spells. That's Coach Whitmore. Winfred Schaefer, 3 years. Paul Hall, a year. Merrin Gordon had a few interim games. And Coach Hamer Hallgrimson was the most recent one, as he spent close to 2 years within the job. And now we commence now with Steve McClaren. And if you look at the coaches and the caliber of coaches that Jamaica has had, it's truly remarkable. Rennie Simoes, Sebastio Lazzaroni, Clovis de Oliveira, Bordo Milutinovic, likes of John Barnes, Winfred Schaefer, just in terms of Hamer Hallgrimson, just in terms of the overseas coaches, just showing the names there so that you are aware. All right. So that basically wraps up in terms of tidbits. More will come so that you are aware, but at least I hope that you get to know him a little bit better so that you are able to know him, some of his credentials, and so that you're aware. This is a coach that will give his utmost best, is 150. And again, I need to reiterate the point, and there's a reason why you repeat things, and it is to stress a point. And it is this. Coach Steve McClaren is a Yorkshireman. And when you're a Yorkshireman, you never give up. You never give up. So with this project, this 2-year project with Jamaica, you can rest assured that he'll be doing his utmost best to guide us towards 2026. So folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary for more content.